Hello and welcome to another episode of 2001, A Film Podyssey. I'm joined here with my co-hosts Kelsey.
Hey.
And today we have a very special episode because we have a very special guest, Steve Rector.
How's it going, guys?
Today we're watching a good movie, I think. We're going to watch Rockstar starring...
Jennifer Aniston and Mark Wahlberg.
And apparently it's about a guy that lives in his mom's basement and has a cover band, but then is eventually asked to head the actual band. Is that what I understand?
Yeah. It's like a tribute band, but he joins the actual band.
Wow.
I don't have any relationship with this movie. I have never even heard of this until now, so I'm very excited to see this. Steve, what's your relationship with this movie?
I saw this movie probably not long after it came out. Just went to a buddy's house and he was watching it, and I totally forgot about it till I saw it on the list, and I was like, oh man, that movie sucks. Let's do that movie.
Perfect. I love hate watch. It's fun.
I think I look forward to the bad movies more than the good movies for this project. Kelsey, have you ever heard or seen Rockstar?
No, I had never heard of it, and then when I looked up like pictures from the movie, it's disturbing. It's disturbing.
Yeah, I think I saw a pretty good looking wig in one of the screenshots I saw.
Yeah,
there were definitely good movies to pick, but I thought it would be more fun to do something bad.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting around like, I really liked this about that movie. You know?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what was it that made you pick this bad movie? Like, why did you want to do a bad movie?
It just really stood out as a really bad. My initial pick was going to be Vanilla Sky because I know me and Matt both like it, but I just thought it would be lame to sit around talking about why I like Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
Well, you might. You'd be more than welcome to come back from Vanilla Sky if you like.
I would be in for that.
Well, now that I know almost nothing about this movie, I think we'll go ahead and watch it, and then we'll come back and give our thoughts on Rockstar. It came out in 2001. That's important to note.
Sorry, Mr. Street. Did you ever look at someone else and think if only you had their life, you'd have it all?
Look at how cool this is. Signed by all 5 band members
of Steel Dragon.
You know what the sickest thing is about you, little man? You fantasize about being somebody else, singing somebody else's songs. Oh, maybe if I get really lucky, I'll get to grow up and listen to Air Supply and wear jackboots like you. What's wrong with Air Supply?
We're tired of just being a cover band.
We started this because we love playing Dragon tunes.
You're gone, man. Am I being kicked out of the group that I started? Let's go.
Hello?
This is Kurt Cuddy. I play in a band called Steel Dragon.
Ricky, you know your English accent is almost as lame as your guitar playing?
Well, I can't do much about the accent. What do you suggest to do about my playing?
Who is this?
We're auditioning for a new lead singer.
The good Lord has given you a hell of a voice.
Do you want the gig then?
You know, I'm just a regular guy who grew up with the posters of these guys on my walls. And now I'm one of them!
He's a rock star now. The normal rules don't apply. How does it feel to know that everyone loves you? You're gonna be great, babe.
Perfect insanity, man.
Your job is to live the fantasy other people only dream about.
Give me some rock star attitude. That's better. Try one with no smile.
All these girls look at you every day.
We're gonna have some mad good times.
We combed this entire planet and we found a star waiting to be discovered.
First time I laid eyes on you, I said that guy is going all the way.
Boy, that was Rockstar. Good movie. We found out right before we watched the movie, it came out September 4th, 2001. Is that correct?
Yes. So a full week before certain events.
What kind of turnout do you think that had? Do you think it made a lot of money in theaters?
I don't know if it was because of
9/11. We can just call it 9/11.
Terrorism, or just the movie itself for the poor turnout. I really don't know.
Well, Rockstar is about the most embarrassing person who is in a rival cover tribute band of a famous band called Steel Dragon.
Mhm.
And I guess they live in Seattle.
No, they live
Pittsburgh.
in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay. Well, they live in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so the movie starts in Pittsburgh, and the band was called Blood Pollution.
His tribute band was Blood Pollution. The other band was called...
The rival band is Black Babylon.
Wow.
Supposedly names of Steel Dragon songs.
Pretty tough name, though.
Yeah. The movie starts. Mark Wahlberg, Chris, Izzy, or Crizzy.
Oh, well, let's call him Crizzy.
Yeah, Crizzy. Okay, Crizzy.
We're on that level with him, I think.
Crizzy wakes up and he already looks hilarious because, and first of all, everyone's hair in this movie looks hilarious. It's set in 1985. And for some reason, no, even though in the 80s, not everyone had these hairdos, everyone has the goofiest fake hair and hairdos in this movie.
Yeah.
And he wakes up and he kisses the cardboard cutout of the lead singer of Steel Dragon that he has in his room. He looks 35, and he has the most embarrassing fan bedroom of Steel Dragon. And everything about this guy and the band he's in and the rival band are all just the most embarrassing thing I can think of.
Yeah, it's very cringy. And by the way, his room is located in his mom's house.
Yeah, he lives in his mom's house. They operate a daycare out of it. And surprise. Okay, so this is one of the things I kind of liked about the movie. Normally, in a movie like this, the embarrassing fanboy guy, his parents are like, get off your ass, you got to go get a job, all this stuff. His brother sort of does that role. His brother is a cop, and he sort of gives him a hard time, but his parents are super supportive.
Yeah.
They seem to kind of not like the cop brother.
Yeah, actually, and I could get down on that. So his parents are super supportive for his bizarre deadbeat lifestyle.
No, he has an office job.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
we see him in there for like 15 seconds of the movie.
He's a photocopying engineer.
Yeah, he fixes photocopiers.
Well,
Come
and
on.
even though he like hates his brother still came on all the stuff with the rest of the family.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think that's more like once he. Oh no, was he at the? So okay, well, he was at one of the fan shows too, right? Like when they were just still the tribute band.
I don't know. I don't remember him. I thought he only started going to the show after his brother became famous, but we're jumping the gun.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Man,
So-
this movie was so forgettable.
I know. Yeah, it's hard to recall. Okay, so Mark Wahlberg lives with his parents. He works at an office. He puts his hair in a ponytail, yada, yada. And then in his free time, he has this band, and they're a tribute band for Steel Dragon. And he's obsessive. Like, he annoys all of his bandmates with how particular he is. They have to be exactly like Steel Dragon. They are not allowed to deviate at all. And his bandmates are kind of like, yo, don't you want to maybe write your own songs or do something a little different? No. His girlfriend is also Jennifer Aniston. Her character name is Emily.
Yeah, she for some reason also very supportive of him.
Yeah.
He's all the talent in the band.
Yeah, apparently. That is so funny. And that's a supportive partner. She's his girlfriend and his manager, which
Right.
What is she doing in the manager position, I wonder at this point?
She must have been doing something because they offered to let her stay when they fired him.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
They're
Yeah.
like, hey, if you want to manage us still, you can. So
And that's when she was like, all the talent just left the room.
Yeah, so the movie starts. It's incredibly embarrassing. I expected so the first time things go off the rails for me, we see them practicing, and already they have a much nicer practice space than they deserve to have. And it sounds good in there. I know that's movie magic, but like they shouldn't, for what they have going on, for what they're doing, they should not be able to afford a good practice space and doing what they're doing. And so they're practicing. He's an uptight asshole about how everyone plays the songs. He definitely believes he is the most serious one. He's the talent, even though all he does is sing, and he doesn't even write any of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen other people's songs. We see them go to their first show. So they go to this big arena. Outside of the arena, they're putting their flyers on everyone's cars to go see their band, Blood Pollution.
Obnoxious.
And they're handing the flyers out. Like, I guess the idea being like, if you like Steel Dragon and you're at the show to see Steel Dragon tonight, maybe you'll come see this not as good band play Steel Dragon songs next week or something. But that's the first time we see their rival band.
It reminds me of I worked at this place called No Limit Pizza in Mountain View, and the owner, because I used to work at Pizza Inn before. Or wait, no, it was after. But anyways, the owner made me go and put flyers on all the rival pizza place, the cars that were there.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least there's a usefulness in that, though. Like, people are getting good prices and coupons for their pizza. I can't imagine, like, if I'm at the show, I want to go see a big band, and then I come back from the show and I see a flyer like, oh, there's a cover band also playing these guys' music. I guess I'll go see that. I just saw the real guys live. Why would I go see that?
Right.
Anyway, we see them meet up with their rival cover band, tribute band, Black Babylon.
Yeah.
They're also giving out flyers at this show, and they have a confrontation.
Yeah, it becomes
It got
a fight.
pretty violent. It got pretty violent.
Yeah.
The embarrassment continues because Crizzy goes up to the rival cover band singer and starts making fun of his outfit. Like, the rival band also has the same sort of like undeserved attitude and swagger, that they own the place in some way. They have some sort of reason to be confident. And Crizzy is like talking about, has anyone ever seen blah, blah, blah with a red trim?
Red lapels.
Yeah.
You know, you could at least get the outfit right. I mean, your boots are from the Wasted Tour, and this is just like a cheap imitation of the Twisted jacket.
You are so fully wrong. Cocksmoker. This is official issue. The actual vest Bobby wore on the Twisted Tour. My dad bought it from someone who knows Dragon's drum set.
Look, I hate to break it to you, but your dad got ripped. First of all, the lapels are supposed to be blue. There's no green in the embroidery. As a matter of fact, can anybody here honestly say that they've ever seen Bobby Beers with a jacket with red lapels?
No, Chris, I can't.
I don't think so.
The encyclopedic knowledge that they have of this band, and I should say, Steel Dragon is like an 80s what kind of genre band is this?
It's like hair metal, right?
Hair metal, I guess.
Hair metal, and they were trying to kind of lightly let us know that the singer of the other band is like a rich kid, because remember he was like, his dad was buying him like authentic Bobby Beers gear, which I think comes in a little later when you know,
they get in a fight in the parking lot. Both bands, every member of both bands, the cover bands, get in a fight in the parking lot outside of this arena. And it's, again, I'm just cringing the entire time because both bands have the exact same outfits on.
Yeah.
And they're like dressed and look like the bands that they're tributes to.
Yeah.
And they're physically fighting about what are they fighting about? Which one's better? Who knows Steel Dragon more? It's like it's kind of a forgettable hair metal band from the 80s. Dime a Dozen, kinda.
Yeah.
I don't understand where the obsession comes from.
Well,
you know?
it's like while we were watching the movies, Steve, you were like, kind of seems like they have a lot in common. Like they should be friends.
Well, later in the movie, they did say something about Steel Dragon is trying to remain the top rock act in the world. So even though they seem dime a dozen in this world, they're top dog.
That's true. That's true. We have to suspend our disbelief and believe
those songs were good, Chris. Or, sorry, I called you Matt. I got Crizzy on the brain.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah,
Mark Wahlberg, what a babe.
So in the movie, Mark Wahlberg's name is actually Chris, but later he becomes Izzy, and then at some point everyone calls him Crizzy. And
I think the first time we hear it, he's all fucked up talking to the friends.
Yeah.
He's like, "You can call me Crizzy."
Yeah.
And during the show, Mark Crizzy starts singing, almost overpowering Bobby Beers, the lead singer of actual Steel Dragon.
Yeah, with no mic or anything. He's
No
just in the
mic.
front row.
Yeah, and you can tell Bobby Beers is kind of either annoyed or impressed. I think annoyed.
Yeah.
Because he's doing the songs and he's looking down, pissed that the other guy, Crizzy, is doing the lines, I guess, as good or better than him.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go out, they have the fight. We see the cop wake him up in the next morning, and
His brother,
his brother, the cop. They have their standard family, like, why don't you grow up and do a real thing? Why don't you have your own dreams, from his brother?
Can't we all agree it's just a little bit twisted that you're still living at home
on.
and stealing Ma's makeup? Isn't a rock star fantasy thing something you're supposed to grow out of, like, around 14? You know what the sickest thing is about you, little man? The sickest thing about you is that you don't have any fantasies of your own. You fantasize about being somebody else, wearing somebody else's clothes, singing somebody else's songs. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Made some great points. He did make some good points.
Dude, this is sort of the bizarre messaging of the movie.
We
to
were all
me.
pro cop in this movie.
Everyone in his life before he becomes famous are making some great points. They are all like, you should have your own dreams. You probably shouldn't like put all your eggs in this tribute band basket. You maybe should write some of your own songs, maybe.
I don't know. I feel like his parents and his girlfriend are enabling him. They're just like, babe, you're amazing. You're so good. Well, his girlfriend, not his parents. But his parents are very supportive. They don't pressure him to maybe move out of the house or, I don't know, create his own unique band. Like, the only one saying any of that stuff is his brother, who's a cop.
In the band.
Oh,
Yeah.
and his own band. Yeah.
Well, I think they would have let it slide if he wasn't such an asshole to the rest of the band.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing their own cover show. Okay, yeah, so they're playing their own cover show. They go off and have a show coming up, the one that we see them advertising at Steel Dragon's actual show. And again, the logic here is making no sense to me because they have a big show coming up. Like their show, I was expecting a regular bar.
Yeah.
They're probably, in some strip mall bar or something. But no, they have a giant fucking mixing board, a real professional mixing board in this huge arena. They're playing at some like steel factory, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he said thanks to someone, like, thanks for blah, 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 Steel, for letting us play here. It showed someone in a hard hat being like, yeah.
Before we get too deep into this party, though, I want to thank the hard hats here at Key Steel for letting us use their place of business.
Oh, yeah. What was that? I thought of that for like a half second, like, why is that guy got a hard hat on?
Yeah.
Well, and then we saw the guys in traffic, too. That he was singing at.
So these guys are like not as big as Steel Dragon, but they're not small. They're like, they're booking good. I would kill to play.
Yeah,
show.
granted, I am not in a Steel Panther tribute band. That would have been by far the largest show I had ever played.
I know.
Yeah.
What on earth? So honestly, like the movie logic isn't making sense already because he's actually, for all the like, you should write your own songs, you should have your own dreams. He's doing pretty good. Him and the band are doing pretty good for a tribute band, better than they deserve to. Crizzy still cannot deal with his guitar player going a little off script, right?
Yeah, his guitar starts doing
I
solos.
would think with a job and playing shows that size, you could probably get your own apartment.
Agree. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
You should be killing it, dude.
Yeah.
Plus, he has a girlfriend. Like, she has her own place. I guess he just always goes to her place.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we see where Emily lives.
We do.
Oh, no,
briefly,
we do. Yeah, that's
she
right.
pierces his nipple.
That's right. Another amazing scene. But yeah, so Steve, you're the singer in a couple bands, right? Do you have that sort of authority over
of
your
course.
band? Like,
Of course.
yeah.
I fucking have to tell Jeremy how to play the guitar all the time. He's fucking squealing all wrong.
It's just wild because like they're playing their show and the guitar player goes a little off script and no one cares. No one in the audience is like, hey, that wasn't exactly how it is. Yeah. But in the middle of the song, they have a quiet conversation where, like, of course, with the movie editing, the music's ducked down and you can hear them talking at regular volume.
Yeah.
And they're having a long conversation in the middle of the song.
What was that, man? What was what? There's no solo break after the chorus. They don't care. Ah! That's not how the song goes. Dude, I know how the song goes. Well, if you know how it goes, then play it right.
Chris, you were taking this shit too seriously.
That's right, I take this shit really seriously because the music deserves to be taken seriously. If you don't take it seriously, you don't deserve to play it.
All right, you need to get a grip. Get a grip.
No, you've ruined your performance. Do not ruin mine.
And he goes and unplugs the guitar. They have, of course, like it's a big show, so some guitar tech comes and plugs it back in because there's actually people working the show, unlike every other local show I've ever
And
played.
clearly everyone else is not on Chrissy's side.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, dude, what are you fucking doing, man?
And Chrissy has a hissy fit and fucking breaks he takes not his mic, he goes and grabs another person's mic, smashes the amp of his. And
Right after saying, you're not going to ruin this show.
Exactly. So Chrissy's completely in the wrong.
Yeah.
He is completely in the wrong. He's destroying other people's equipment. No wonder people are having a fucking problem with him.
Yeah.
But it does seem weird because it seems like the movie wants you to think Chrissy is in the right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But it's really hard to do the mental gymnastics to be on his side.
100%. I mean, the whole time he's just like you said, secondhand embarrassment. The whole
Yeah.
movie, like watching him do his makeup, watching him stand next to the cardboard cutout of Bobby Beers, and then looking in the mirror.
I honestly think he smooches it too. I honestly
Yeah.
think he kisses it.
He's at work and that guy's like, are you wearing mascara? He's like, I'm in a band.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No explanation necessary. Just that. That's enough. Yeah.
So, and of course, the confusing messaging here going on because they get in a fight on stage. The show's over. Jennifer Aniston as Emily is like, okay, well, I think that's all for tonight. We're closing up. And I can't remember exactly what happens between then and when Chris gets picked up because he gets a call from Bobby Beers.
Yeah.
Well, he goes to practice, and the singer of the rival band has now been hired as the singer.
What's up?
What's he doing here? What are you doing here?
Bradley's our new front man.
You made your point. Get him out now.
Dude, only one leaving is you.
Hey, Chris, see these? This new PA he brought with him. Oh, and that's a new mixing board he brought with him, too.
That's right.
And that's part of the rich kid thing, too,
Yeah.
because they're like, look, he brought a bunch of amps, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and then like Chrissy's stealing his mic and his stand. He's like, I'll buy us new ones.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. He's,
But did you hear the voice he brought with him?
It's not authentic Steel Dragon, guys.
Have you heard the voice he's brought with him?
Sit and spin.
Dude, just relax. Look, I don't care if Bradley can hit all the notes Bobby Beers can hit because I hear Bobby Beers is leaving the band anyway.
You don't know what the hell you're talking
Nina and
about.
Samantha hooked up with the band Fort Wayne. They say Bobby's leaving.
That's bullshit, man. You know better
Okay,
than to
look,
listen to
whatever.
that.
It doesn't matter because we're only doing Dragon covers to get people in the door so they can hear our originals because we're tired of just being a cover band.
We are not a cover band. We're a tribute band.
No, dude. We are a cover band. The problem is we've been covering the tunes. You think you're in goddamn Steel Dragon. I love you, man, but you're mental. You really are. You need to get a grip on reality, man. You don't know where Bobby Beers ends, and you begin.
I'm mental. I'm only mental because I don't want to be in some cheesy bar band that butchers the music people came to hear just to trap men to listen to your crappy originals.
Crappy original?
Yeah.
Well, I think Hole and a Half kicks ass. I'm proud of shit to have written it.
Yeah, that's right. He goes to practice. Oh, and also, him and Emily are in a choir too. That's
Oh, yeah, and he got his nipple pierced. We forgot about that.
yeah. He's over at Emily's place, and we see the most glorious close up of Mark Wahlberg's hairy nipple,
Or someone else's.
yeah, I'm sure
We
it's
don't
a
know.
nipple double, but
Yeah, but they made us watch that whole thing close up. Like, we see a shot of just the nipple, then we see her prepping the needle and rubbing the ice on it.
Ice swirling around the nipple hairs.
Yeah, and then she like takes the needle to it, and I thought surely they're not going to show this, but they show a little bit of it, and it was disgusting. No thanks.
it might have been the hardest thing to watch in the movie. I just
Yeah.
But the Hallelujah in choir
Yeah.
was pretty great.
and again, like I just had expectations that kept getting thwarted because he goes like they're singing the end of the line and then he does a hair metal hallelujah and sort of like disrupts the choir. But and you'd think in a stuffy choir situation, they're going to be like, hey, come on, that's not how it goes. But everyone loves it. They all laugh and everyone has good fun with it.
I kind of thought, I took it like they were laughing at him. That's how it seemed to me. But
Oh, maybe. He deserves to be laughed at. That makes sense.
yeah. So Bobby Beers calls him on the phone. How does he get his number anyway?
No, the guitar player called.
Oh,
That's right.
So the guitar player of Steel Dragon calls him somehow.
Oh, no, they have his tape. So someone taped the last performance.
Oh.
And it's funny, too, because they're playing it on a big old TV. They're watching it, and it looks, we see the camera during the show, and it's one of those old VHS camcorders. And I always loved catching this in movies because they're watching it on a big TV, and the picture is crystal clear on the TV from like that old VHS quality on that giant TV, and it looks so
Now,
good.
maybe if they'd watched the rest of the video and would have saw him acting like a little bitch, they would have been less shocked later on in the movie.
Oh, no, he'll ruin every show we have if we hire this guy. Yeah.
So they end up asking him to come out to LA to audition because their lead singer is being kicked out of the band, essentially.
Yeah, Emily and him show up, and we meet for the first... I don't remember this character's name.
I'm Tanya Asha. I work with the band.
Oh, you used to go out with Bobby.
You look like Bobby.
But she's automatically weird. Tanya, okay. She's automatically very strange to both of them, and she compliments Jennifer Aniston's amazing breasts.
Yeah, she does.
How's your breasts? I'm sorry. What? Your breasts. Aren't they yours?
I don't remember.
And she's not even wearing anything like revealing. It's a regular shirt that is not super accentuating them, and she just has to mention... I'm not sure why, but
yeah, that was weird.
It was very strange.
For being like the girlfriend of like how like kind of flamboyant he is in the movie, I've never seen Jennifer Aniston dressed kind of so down as she was in that.
Yeah, exactly.
She wasn't like metal chicked out at all.
Well, and I think that's maybe intentional to show that, she's not a groupie. So, they've got to differentiate her somehow. And obviously, Jennifer Aniston's very beautiful. So, she's going to blend in with, like, all these other beautiful women around. But making her a little bit more modest, maybe covering her up a bit more, like, dressing her down a bit, shows that, like, oh, yeah, she's the normal girlfriend, not just some rock star groupie.
She's much more grounded than everyone else.
Yeah, she has aspirations, okay? Like, she's going.
They don't even 80s her hair up as much as many of the other characters.
No, not really.
But yeah, the band take him in, and they go to have him audition, and they put him in front of... Oh, first of all, we meet who the real Bobby Beers is.
Why the fuck is he there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awkward.
He reveals, one, that he's gay. We hear a couple slurs about that, which was always kind of strange to hear now in this day and age. I know it's 2001, and that the F word wasn't as...
And this is 85.
Yeah, well, in 85 you would hear it for sure, right? But it's still weird. Like, I live now, and it's just very strange to hear that in a movie so, nonchalant,
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Beers reveals that he's both gay and that is not his real hair, as we all guessed.
Yeah.
He pulls his hair off, and it's definitely a big wig. So it just sort of begs the question: does anyone have any real hair in this whole movie?
No.
Well, this movie is more fun to talk about than it was to watch. Right? I was like, God, this movie sucked. What are we even going to talk about? It is funny to talk about.
Yeah.
It is.
Speaking of funny to talk about too, I forgot. I should have mentioned this way earlier, but in the beginning, there's a marquee that has some things, and I have to admit I've thought of this before, but I would have never said it out loud until right now. But the marquee says, I guess it's an act, all that jizz.
Yeah. Wait, wasn't the other band playing called Das Booty?
Yeah, I think so. All that jizz. Anyway. He fucks up his first couple recordings. Yeah, he's nervous.
And for some reason, they give him chance after chance. I feel like in real life, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
They're like, next, get out of here.
And Matt's the road manager, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why they did this, but Matt pours a little bit of whiskey in a glass and just slides it over to Emily.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was doing something creepy, but then nothing happened.
Yeah, she just looks down at it, and then we never see it again.
But then a little later, she is kind of like drunk. So I'm like, wait, did
Yeah.
he do something? But then
there must have been some cutting or editing
nothing
around.
happened.
I thought the exact
Y'all
same thing.
like cut it out where they drug her. Cut that out. we changed our minds.
I thought that was strange.
Who's Matt? Who plays Mats? Do we know the actor's name?
No, but we did recognize him from a couple things, but I don't know his name.
He's in Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls.
Yeah.
He's in Vanilla Sky, which we'll be watching later on.
Timothy Spall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah,
but-
I don't know that I've ever heard that name. I recognize the guy, but until you said what he was in, it wasn't clicking where I'd seen him.
He's in a lot of things. He definitely looks the grossest he's ever looked in
It's
any
the hair.
movie. Yeah.
That fucking hair looked disgusting.
Well, and something about too, and I know like we see this now with current aged rock stars like Rolling Stones or something, where they are still doing their get-ups
Yeah.
like they were in their heyday, but on screen these are all people in like their mid-30s, and it's just very strange to see. Like Mark Wahlberg has a decent figure, like he's obviously like
he was looking great.
Come on, Matt. Go on.
he's a real hottie in the movie. No, but his hair is fucking weird. The way he looks is like having all that leather on, no shirt, leather jacket, the weird hair, and he looks like they implanted a much older man into that lifestyle than it should have been. You know?
Oh yeah, I agree. Like him and Jennifer Aniston both. I don't know if we ever actually hear what age they're supposed to be, but at some point, no spoiler or anything, but at some point, Jennifer Aniston is sitting in the limo with all the other like girlfriends and wives around of the rock stars, and one of them is talking about like her experience and how you just have to get over it, like you have to share your man and all this shit. She looks rough too.
Chugging a fifth of like Absolute vodka.
Yeah. She's like wasted and stuff. And Jennifer Aniston's like, well, I hope I'm a bit less cynical when I'm your age. And then the lady's like, I'm 23.
Oh
and
my
like,
God.
so how old? The whole time we were like, they look like they're in their 30s. Like he's still living at home with his parents. And everyone's treating him like he's this young kid who just, give him a break. He's still young. He looks like he's 30-something. Like,
Yeah.
What is he?
Late 20s at best.
Yeah.
But even his older cop brother looks younger than Chrissy does, you know?
I don't know. I mean, I would say they look similar in age, but they both look way too old to be doing this shit. Like,
yeah, it's one of the worst cases of like a high school movie where all the high schoolers are like in their mid-20s or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Really like takes me out of it kind of to see these people walking around like they're dumb young people, but they're obviously in their 30s.
Yeah.
So he gets the gig though, like
He does, because he's amazing. He's such a good singer. Not Mark Wahlberg, whoever they hired to sing in the movie.
I did look it up. I can't remember who it is, but Mark Wahlberg does not sing in this movie.
Yeah.
They definitely had a vocal double for him. I thought the lip singing was good. Whenever we see close-ups of Mark Wahlberg, mouthing the words, it looks like I would love to hear the actual audio on set, because you can't really fake that without actually belting it out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So I just looked, because I was really curious. I was like, his brother, I know I've seen him in something.
Mm-hmm.
The Wedding Singer. He was Drew Barrymore's fiance, the like real douchey guy.
Oh, that's right. Man, I haven't seen that one in a long time.
And now he plays a cop.
Yeah.
Not far off.
Two douchey characters. So one thing that this movie confused me about, the whole movie was confusing in tone, because there aren't really any stakes in this movie, are there?
Well, the conflict doesn't get introduced until pretty late in the movie. I mean...
And it's like, boom, like that.
Yeah. Well, but even the conflict is like, okay, we talked about Almost Famous a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Came
out a year before this movie
and does a lot of similar things but better. But the conflict in that movie, it's a coming of age story, but like his friend in that movie, the groupie, the way too young groupie or whatever, we see her get her stomach pumped.
Oh yeah.
There's some weird and bad shit that goes down in that movie. Like there's lives can be at stake in that movie.
Right.
In this movie, Mark Wahlberg gets a taste of the rock star lifestyle and
is a shitty boyfriend.
He's a crappy boyfriend. He gets too big of a head.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston leaves. She's like, I want to go start a business with my friend Marcy in Seattle.
That she later refers to as this thing. I want to go do this thing.
Yeah.
We later see it's a coffee shop. So like they're not doing too good, obviously, right? In Seattle, 2001 coffee shop.
85.
Honestly, yeah, they're probably doing okay then. That's before. When did Starbucks come out? I can't remember now.
Who knows? So, I thought it was funny when he gets into the band. We should note the band is a British band, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So like all these people in the band in Steel Dragon are, have British accents, and they, I guess, I don't know if they ask or force Izzy to do a British accent, but he does, and they do this press conference. And he's faking this British accent. They even make him change his name. I guess Chris isn't cool enough. So he starts going by Izzy. And that's where someone in the audience or a journalist, somebody asks him, Izzy, how did you get your voice? And that's when he says, I got my voice eating pussy, man.
Well, he tries saying his choir teacher.
Right.
And then the other guy's like, he ate a lot of pussy.
Right. His first response is like, I have a really great choir teacher. And then someone's like, no, man, he eats a lot of pussy.
Listen, I'm telling you lot, we combed this entire planet looking for someone who was heavy enough to pull this one off. And we found a star waiting to be discovered.
Can you hit all the same notes that Bobby Beers can hit?
That's why I'm in the band.
How do you keep your voice in such great shape?
Oh, Miss Reed, my choir teacher, she always gives me some really cool exercises.
It's a lot of pussy, that's how.
Oh, yeah, I eat the whole pussy.
Classic.
Like father, like son.
That's my boy.
Mind you guys.
And then he thankfully drops, like, he sticks onto that sort of he eats pussy way too long in a scene that goes on way too long.
Because he's in the mirror later at night saying it.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Why is he saying that in the British accent, looking in the mirror at 2 in the morning?
And he says it so many times.
I eat a lot of pussy. Loads of it. I eat a lot of pussy. Tons. I got my voice eating pussy, man. It's like a vocal technique exercise. I got eating pussy, man. Loads of it. All the time. Tons. That's all I do. Breakfast, morning, noon, night. I've got to have it, man. That's all I do is eat pussy. A lot of it.
That's again so embarrassing. And then we see Emily get at, like, she's in the background already in bed being like, hey, quit doing that and do the real thing or whatever. But it's like, okay, he wasn't embarrassed to do that in front of his girlfriend. What is he thinking?
That's a beautiful relationship. I know it gave us like a weird like calendar, like kind of montage thing of them, but I didn't get a sense of how long this all went.
It was at least months.
Months.
Because it was like the summer. I remember it was like maybe June or July, and then it was all the way in September by the time he was in Seattle and they met up. Right? Are you talking like when
Well, before that though, they do their first show.
Yeah.
And he's going up the elevator to get on the steps, and he starts singing the song, and he's walking down the steps and fucking dies on stage.
Yeah. Yeah, he falls
the end.
Really bad. I definitely think he would have had a concussion or some shit. Like, there's no way. I mean, he had blood running down his face.
I think he fell on his head. Like, we see the pointing down, the shots pointing down, we see him fall on the ground, and he does like a roll on his neck, and of course, you think his career is over. Again, the mixed messaging of this movie, the career, like, he's not singing. You'd think the band would stop too. I think they're still just playing the song. No one really goes to
They're kind of looking at him like, does the kid have what it takes?
Yeah. Can the kid break his neck and still perform? And he gets up and he nails it, though, for somehow.
Supposedly,
Because he's bleeding and he's like, what does he say? Like, we want blood.
Yeah. So lame.
It is lame. I just can't imagine you could really come back from that level of embarrassment on your first show from a real audience. I mean, he's played to big audiences, I guess, in his dumb tribute band, but as the real thing, he fell from like 6 feet or 6 or 8 feet.
At least, yeah. in front of a bunch of, oh my God, no way. And then had to stand up with blood.
And looks cooler because of it.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I don't think he would have come back from. I would have come back from that. I would have been like, I think I'm done being a rock star. I'm not getting out.
I kind of tore one of my nipple rings when I was falling down.
I get my girlfriend to rub ice
got
on
snagged.
it. Yeah. Yeah, and so he nails it. They get their first taste of the rock star lifestyle. They do that weird party.
Oh, yeah.
At the end where we see too much weird sexual clubbing going on.
Oh, yeah, because it seems like Jennifer Aniston isn't into it, and the next thing you know, she's like making out with like multiple people.
Yeah.
Maybe she is into it.
And this is before they've had anything. Like, apparently, we see Crizzy get fed some drugs.
Yeah.
But, like, Jennifer Aniston sits there and watches the initiation where he takes a shot out of the girl's tits, you know?
Yeah.
And she seems like...
She gives him permission, but then seems to not like it immediately.
Yeah, she's actually doing, like, as far as it goes to be thrust into this, she's being pretty fucking great, you know? Like...
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely letting things slide and not getting upset.
Like, this is his dream. I'm on this ride with him. We're going to see how it works out. And
she's trying to be understanding.
Yeah,
but you can tell she's uneasy about it.
And that's when Matt comes up all creepily being like, you know, you could have fun too if you want. Like, I don't know
was
what that
he hitting
voice
on
was.
her? Like, what is the...
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
it almost makes you wonder in that scene if, once again, maybe he did slip her or something, but they
Right.
decided not, because she seems like she's on like something.
Yeah, there's a part where
all
she,
of the
she
sudden.
stands up and she's wobbly and he comes over, Matt comes over and he's like, are you doing okay? And she says something like, oh, I didn't think I had that much, but I guess so. And he's like, oh, it takes a while to build up your tolerance, something.
Yeah.
And it really
It's like
seemed like...
taboos. They're from
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. They drink all the time.
Yeah, like, you know that they're drinking at their shows, that they've been, like, whatever. I don't know. That
He
was
says,
weird.
yeah, gravity doesn't work the same way anymore, does it?
Oh my God.
The laws of gravity no longer apply, right?
I guess not, huh?
You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of build up a little bit of tolerance to it, you know what I
Right,
mean?
okay,
Yeah.
I'll get that one going.
You can have a good time as well, you know? It's allowed. Anything you want, just have to ask.
Okay.
Don't forget.
Oh, I won't.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I'll get used to it. It's a weird, I don't know. I don't understand the conversation because
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a scene where someone in the band like slipped her some stuff and they cut it from the movie because they were like, "Oh no, it's a little too dark for the vibe."
they must have cut it twice though, because the scene where she's passed the
Right.
whiskey and she looks at it, she's like, no, and then it just doesn't happen. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
They keep like Jennifer Aniston kept getting slipped drugs throughout the movie. They were like, we probably
So it actually seems like she had a hell of a tolerance to it.
yeah, honestly.
Because it never put her down.
Yeah, she's still standing. Yeah.
So as they're like led through the party, this is my another problem. So many problems with this movie. They're like, obviously they're getting swept up in the scope of this. You know, they are in this huge party. Everyone is stoked to have Crizzy on board, I guess.
Yeah.
The lady that met them at the airport,
Tanya,
I think, goes up to him and is like, or maybe it's someone else, but it's like, how does it feel to be the guy everyone in the club wants to fuck or whatever?
Yeah, that's Tanya. Yeah.
And it's so uncomfortable.
It's like he's only played one show and he fell down.
Yeah, exactly. He fucked it up, dude. Yeah. Like,
The bar's too low.
how come no one's talking about the fall, right? Like, he gets out of the set and they're like, you did a great job. And it's like,
Yeah.
what?
Imagine how pissed he'd have been if his guitar player fell down in the tribute.
Or played a solo during the chorus, right? Like,
God forbid. So they wake up the next day after this LA fuck fest and like this party, and they realize they've both slept with other people, like Jennifer Aniston.
Like a bunch.
Yeah, like a bunch.
I
like,
know, it seemed like straight up orgy would
oh
happen. Yeah.
The hotel room is filled with people.
But they're not even in the same room because she's in the
Right.
bedroom, he's in the living room.
Right, like
She wakes up next to someone's feet and
yeah.
naked, and she gets up, puts the sheet around her, finds. No, she just walks out, and then
Mm-hmm.
He somehow wakes up right at that very moment.
yeah, walks out. And they do sort of annoying, like, did that happen? Look, we're not talking about it, you know?
Yeah, they just try to pretend like it didn't happen. Let bygones be bygones. They're not upset with each other.
Pretty healthy understanding of that, you know?
But then the next day, they're like, is it the next day they're starting the tour? And that's when the manager tells Jennifer Aniston that, sorry, there's not enough room on the bus. You have to take your own car or ride with the wives.
It's a long-standing rule that the wives can't be on the bus while they're working on their tunes.
Yeah, too distracting.
And then you see a bunch of bimbos get on, and she's like, well, who are they? Like, oh, that's his astrologist, and that's his physical therapist.
Yeah, Tanya gets on the bus.
Yeah.
I'm
And we
sure.
find out also Tanya is trans. That's not really important, but they
she is shown peeing.
It's not ever mentioned. It's just one little scene where I assume that's what they were implying.
Yeah.
Or she has a shiwi. I don't know.
True, shiwi.
I don't know if shiwis were around in 85. Though.
I don't think so. Maybe just a regular funnel.
But it was strange though, because Chrissy walks into the bathroom and we just see the backside of her, and she's obviously peeing standing up, and you can hear it and everything, and he seems legitimately disgusted.
Yeah.
I guess it's the 80s, so maybe that, it's not as normal of a thing, maybe. But
Well, and they've been throwing around the F slur throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So, it's clearly very homophobic.
Now, earlier in the movie, didn't they? When he first met her, didn't he say, "Oh, you used to date Bobby," or was it Bobby? She used to date one of them.
Probably
But
Bobby.
was it Bobby?
I don't know.
Man, it might have been, and that would make a little more sense with Bobby's character too, being homosexual. But
they're not. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost just makes it all muddier. I'm not sure what's.
I'm
not sure what's going on.
This movie is not
She's
very
like
well explained.
clearly not a man.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
She's like a total babe. You know.
And that's what I'm getting. Like, why include that scene? Why is that a part of the movie?
Yeah, and why is he disgusted? Like, clearly he just woke up from, fucking all these people. So I'm assuming Tanya was a part of that. And for them to take the time in the movie to show his face looking like, oh my God. It's like, what?
That's the same dick I saw last night.
I'm like, what are we
And
doing?
it's like, if that's not part of if that's not part of the story, if that has no impact on the rest of the movie whatsoever, why are we including that except to be like, oh man, rock stars party crazy, I guess. So they do their. Emily is okay. She's still being very understanding at this point. She gets in the car with the rest of the wives.
It's a grim picture.
Yeah.
It's not good. I think it's almost like seeing Christmas Future. Like, you know what I mean? It's really depressing. Like, all of the wives are just talking about how she has to share him and what does she expect. Like,
they all look rough and gross too. Like,
and the one is chugging vodka. Like, they talk about doing drugs. They talk about having fun, like fucking other guys and stuff. And
she should have been like, yeah, I just fucked like 4 guys last night. I know.
Spare me the lecture, okay? So they start the tour, and I think that's the montage, right, where it just shows that like months go by or whatever, and then it stops when we watched there. Okay, I complained about this earlier. Too much of this movie, way too much, was devoted to showing the band playing on stage.
Yeah.
I hate when movies do that. I love the movie Almost Famous. I think they happen to be able to do it pretty well. Although we were talking about it, Stillwater is annoying. The band is annoying. I don't love the scenes when they're playing, but at least the scenes when they're shown to be playing on stage, there's something else happening in the movie, like
the
backstage.
plot's moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in this, no.
Well,
it is.
Even in like biopics of like good bands, they always look lame. Like they made a biopic about the Germs and made them seem like the lamest thing that ever happened. You know,
It's just bad. It's like, dude, I don't want to watch a music video. Why am I watching? Like, why is 20, 30, 40% of this movie? It's a fake band.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if it was an actual band playing real songs. This shit was all made up. Why so much screen time?
It's guilty of that. It's also guilty of a thing that it was going on a lot in the 90s and 2000s where they did weird frame rate edits, like the style of the movie where it happens at the very beginning of the movie where they're trying to get their beat up car started and they're driving down. They're going to the show, right? And they're all stoked. And it does that weird choppy frame rate thing. It does that in the montage. It does that every time it shows the buses driving down the road.
It does that when he hits his head, right?
Yeah, that's
Kinda?
right. Yeah. They use it for like woozy effect,
Yeah.
you know? But that seems like such a staple of like 90s, mid-aughts movie making is that. I don't notice it much anymore. It probably happens, but.
And I also got to say, why is their car so shitty? You guys all have jobs. They're in a wildly successful tribute band.
Exactly. They're getting paid
Get
at
a
those
nice
shows.
band, for fuck's sake.
He's a photocopy engineer, like photocopy technician. Exactly. They got money. Why is there? They got a great practice space, good gear. Like,
yeah.
That's confusing. The message of this movie is confusing.
If you're gonna live with mom, have a van. You know.
True.
Are they deadbeats or are they not? You know, like
It's unclear. I mean, he has a day job, but like his cop brother's making fun of him for I don't know. The car was so shitty it was like breaking down. I mean,
they had to do one of those rolling starts where the car had to be in motion before you could start the car. You know,
that's shitty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They had money if they could afford that gear, that practice space, and tickets to the band, and
like after that first big successful show, it's kind of a slow downward spiral for Crizzy, right? Because he kind of like, you know, I assume he starts drinking more, starts doing some drugs. It doesn't like explicitly show him doing that stuff, but there's that scene where he and Jennifer Aniston have the final sort of confrontation with each other, and she says like, "You're wasted," you know.
He's like, "I'm gonna meet you in Seattle."
Yeah,
we're in Seattle.
Yeah. Like, so at some point, you know, she gets sick of it. She's like, "I can't do this. I want a life. I don't want to do this every day. I'm leaving the tour," and she's not even breaking up with him.
Well, I think actually though, this was after she'd already quit and left and went. She quits like right after the montage, I believe, with no explanation.
Yes.
And then she moves
she
moves to Seattle to do, and then they're on tour and stop in Seattle, and she comes to see him.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
she'd already quit the tour, but they didn't really explain because nothing like happened. She's
said-
partying and in orgies, and it seems like she's enjoying it. And then we have a montage, and then she's out.
just tired of riding in the car
well,
with
she-
the other
she
wives.
did.
You know?
They did get that loan, I guess. That is
Yeah,
why.
she gets the loan for a business.
That thing.
That thing with her friend Marcy. And so she's moving to Seattle. Yeah, they never really explain why Seattle. Like, we know they're from Pittsburgh, kind of random, whatever. So she leaves to Seattle, and I guess they make a plan to meet up in Seattle. His tour is going to stop through there. So she's like, "Okay, cool, I'll see you then."
I think they just chose Seattle because of how they wanted to end it.
Oh
Yeah,
totally.
I think so.
Yes. So yeah, she shows up to, I guess, the after party because it seems like they've already played the show, and she's having to get in the elevator with a bunch of groupies, and they're all talking about how they're gonna fuck him, you know, and then she gets up there and he forgot she was gonna be there.
He's fucked up. He's 3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah.
And he's surprised to see her, and he doesn't even know he's in Seattle at the time. Like,
He's like, "We were gonna meet up in Seattle." Yeah.
And the whole time that girl's tapping on her shoulder like, "I want to fuck Chrissy. I got to go to work at midnight."
Yeah. She's a dancer, yeah. So at that point, they break up, right? It's kind of like...
Yeah, because when she first left, he's like, "Are you leaving me?" She says, "No, I'm not leaving you. I'm leaving this." But
Yeah.
then it seems like maybe they broke up then.
at this point, I think she's like, "Yeah, I'm leaving." He's like, "No, I'll come with you," and
Right.
she just leaves. And I think that they're over at this point. Yeah,
Mhm.
and this whole time too, Crizzy, he's told some advice. He gets bad advice from the people around him because he walks. I think this is after, but I'm not sure. But he walks in on one of the other bandmates on like a medical table.
Oh, yeah.
Just getting his blood freshened up.
Because his liver's so fucked up.
His liver don't work like it used to.
I'll be back in a few minutes to check on you, okay?
She just freshen up the old blood. Liver doesn't work as good as it did when I was your age, mate. Listen, make it easy on yourself. There's no way it can work. You start off with the best intentions, but so much pussy coming at you every day that finally it wears you down. And then you crack. You see, you got all these birds out there dreaming about having it off with you. And that makes the guys want to be you. The guys are the ones that buy the records. So if the chicks don't want you, the guys are gone. I mean, put it this way. Your job is to live the fantasy other people only dream about. Don't go in half-assed. Dream big. Live the life.
And
that's a normal thing.
And so, like, already red flags should be going off in Chrissy's mind. But then he takes his advice because he takes his advice. He's like, listen, the guys are the ones that buy the albums, and the girls are the one that want to fuck you. If the girls go, so do the guys. You got to live the dream. You got to live the fantasy. Otherwise, people aren't gonna go to the shows. And
you
stuff.
have to fuck them so they bring their boyfriends.
Buy the merch and stuff. Like, you're watching this guy getting like a blood transfusion, and he's telling you gotta fucking party, you know?
That's just solid math right there.
It's like, he's like, okay, you know? Fucking wild. So he takes that advice to heart and is doing...
Well, and then, okay, there's the scene where he's sitting in the bar with Mats. And Mats randomly, like... Actually, there's pretty much no setup. He just starts telling him about his ex-wife.
Yeah, I was married once. And even Chrissy, there's like a long pause. He's like, do I want to ask for, like, oh, were you? Like,
yeah. And Mats tells him this sad fucking story about how he was married to a really sweet girl back in university. And he just one day, they were at lunch and he went to the bathroom. And he was staring at the wall and just thinking about how this isn't the life he wanted. He didn't want to have a regular life. So he leaves the bathroom and fucking abandons his wife. Like, walks away, never looks back.
Yeah, he tells her, I gotta take a piss.
Which I guess I missed that part of because I was wondering if I had missed that at the end later on. I was like, is that why he's saying that to him?
It is a call. Yeah, he tells his wife at the time, I gotta take a piss. Goes and takes a piss. Never comes back, you know?
Well, if you got kids, you got to say, I got to go get cigarettes.
Yeah,
if it's just a wife, you can just...
Exactly. If it's your wife, you got to piss. If it's your dad, you go to get smokes. So
yeah, and you can tell, I guess this is supposed to be Matt's trying to have a heartfelt, like, give him some real advice. Because he says, he's like, I've looked into her now. Like, she's married to my old best friend or something. She has 3 kids. He's a
gorgeous
doctor.
kids.
Gorgeous kids. They're so happy, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, I know that the movie is trying to make it seem like he fucked up. He made a mistake. He does not seem very remorseful.
No, he doesn't believe that he fucked up.
I'll get all the runoff.
Like, it doesn't really hit like it's supposed. Like, it doesn't land in the way I think they wrote it to land.
Exactly. Another example of the mixed messaging where, like, the movie's trying to tell you one thing, but the characters are telling you something else, you know?
It was weird, and I guess we're supposed to take that as, like, okay, that gets stuck in Mark Wahlberg's Chrissy's head, and he starts thinking about Jennifer Aniston and Emily more and more, but again, it just doesn't deliver. We don't really see that. Like, it's not that heartfelt, or it's just doesn't feel that way. And then you don't see Chris pining after Emily. It just all of a sudden at a show that they're playing, he sees himself in the crowd, right? Not actually himself, but
who he was before. Yeah.
There's this young guy right in the front row dressed exactly like him. So it's happening all over again.
It's like shot for a scene earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he was doing when he was a nobody tribute guy. And he brings the guy on stage, lets him sing, and then he walks off stage, right?
Yeah. He's like they do a few lines together, and then he walks backstage. Which again, and this happens at the end of the movie too. It happens all the time. Where the lead singer, I guess, you're not really required to stay on stage with the band as you're performing. You know, you can just walk backstage in the middle of a song, and people aren't like, "What are you doing?" Everyone was just like, "Oh, are you okay? You need anything?" You know, they're still performing that. But anyway, at least this time they have a replacement for the singer because the fan is out there rocking. Like, he's apparently the band doesn't even notice that he's been replaced.
Yeah.
Right?
Did he get the job? I don't think we got clarification if that guy got the job.
I don't think we did, but
let's assume he did.
So he walks down stage and he's about ready to leave, and he tells Mats, I need to go take a piss.
Everything all right?
Could be better, man.
Taking a night off, eh?
I'm gonna go take a piss.
Yeah, really heartfelt moment again.
Yeah.
Full circle. Great. Really tugging at the heartstrings, you know?
Yeah. And from there,
What happens then?
well, from there, Chrissy goes.
How do you remember all this?
Yeah,
Dude, I would not have been able to lay all this out.
he goes back home. I don't know if he goes back home to Pittsburgh or Seattle. I think Pittsburgh, I guess, because he meets up with one of his former bandmates.
Oh, yeah.
He starts writing his own music.
At Seattle, right?
Seattle, I
In
guess.
Seattle, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Why is that guy in Seattle?
Yeah.
Because he just runs into him and Seattle.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, we could dig a
He's
hole.
out there like playing
hole and a
acoustic
half
guitar
out
outside
or
of
whatever.
a college or something, and the guy was like, "Yo, Chris," and they have like a little like
They both have their hair cut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they
they're getting out of
do.
the hair metal thing into the grunge scene, I guess.
Yeah, it's very early 90s. Or, some, trying to be, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, they didn't pull off the grunge sound at all.
No.
But that's clearly what they were going for.
I
but
was thinking more Pearl Jam. I thought he was going for more of a Pearl Jam thing.
that would have been lame for Pearl Jam.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I mean, 10 rocks, bro. 10 rocks.
I'm not just a Pearl Jam.
But yeah, like he ditches the leather gear, all of his leather jackets
He's
and
wearing
shit.
a ratty sweater.
Yeah, he's wearing a sweater.
You think
and
the nips are still pierced under that cardigan?
For sure.
You don't
For
get rid
sure.
of the nip piercing.
And then, what do you know? Jennifer Aniston, she picks up a flyer in Seattle and sees that he's playing a show by his real name, Chris.
Cole, I think.
Yeah, Chris Cole, and she goes to the show, and she also looks different. Her hair is different,
Mhm.
like she's very 90s.
This is when we see the very short glimpse of her at the thing that she started with Marcy.
Which still is not clear what it was.
Yeah, I think it's a coffee shop, but it's hard to tell.
Wait,
but-
was it
Could have been a
obvious that
bar.
she owned it?
No, it looked like
Or
she
was
was
she
just
just
working
in
there.
there?
It looked
Oh,
like
she
she was
was-
just working the counter.
Hmm.
So maybe it didn't work out.
Well,
Maybe she had to go get a regular.
You really got to grind those first couple years.
Yeah,
though.
that's true. You don't have much of a staff. You got to do all the.
Yeah, and then she's totally taken with the fact that he's doing his own music, which is so hilarious because in the very beginning of the movie, she's supporting him being a fucking tribute
Yeah.
only doing the cover band stuff. Like all of his bandmates are like, "Please, let's do our own original music." And she's like, fully supports his decision not to do that.
Yeah.
And now that he's doing his own music, it's like, "Oh, finally."
And then this fucking hypocrite walks right off stage during a song just
I
to
know.
go chat up a girl.
I know. It's just like are you not supposed to?
Says
be up
to
there?
the
Like-
guy who he wouldn't even let take a solo out of order. Hey, I'm walking off stage to go.
Exactly. Okay, carry this for
He
a
should
while.
have bashed his fucking mic in the ground.
Yeah,
like-
exactly. Hey, that's how we practice the song,
Are you sure there's lyrics coming up?
Yeah, you have like a verse, right now. Okay, bye.
No, guys, that's supposed to show that he's matured, he's grown, he's more laid back now.
Yeah,
He's
more
not
adaptable.
such a tight ass.
I wish I
Okay.
would have. So many times when we see songs, I wish I had the presence of mind to write down some of the lyrics they're singing, because the song that he's singing in the coffee shop or whatever, some of the goofiest, and it seems like it's pointed to Emily too.
But
seems
it
like-
wasn't the song that she said he'd wrote her back in the day, was it?
Oh, I don't think
Because she was like, that song you wrote me when I was 15.
Yeah,
I don't think it was.
I don't know why I put that voice on, because that is not how
I was trying, I thought the same thing. I don't know. I can't remember the lyrics that she said in the beginning.
Well,
I
the song-
remember some of the paid for songs we heard. Like,
Yeah.
on the wild side. Stuff like that.
Well, the song that he was singing as the new act was a lot of like lost love bullshit, So I can't imagine knowing a lot about that at 15 for your current girlfriend.
Oh,
but-
well then, yeah, it's a new song about her, I guess.
That's
It's
what
a-
I was-
maybe it's another song about, a new song about her.
That's how I took it, and
Hmm.
but yeah, this fucking, you're right, this hypocrite though, like you gotta play the song exactly as is, and then I'm leaving to chat up this girl. It's so goofy.
And then that's pretty much the end, right?
And it didn't really tell us anything. Like,
Yeah.
did they get together? How'd the band do? What did the guy get the gig? Like a lot of movies from there, they'd be like, oh, they put it, this movie could have used one of those, if any.
Yeah, like what happened to any of the people after all this stuff went down?
He just went into obscurity. Wearing sweaters and playing
That's
acoustic
beautiful.
guitar.
That's beautiful, man.
It's beautiful. There's a couple. So yeah, as far as the messaging goes, the moral of the story is, even if you're some pathetic weirdo that is obsessed with a band and tributing them, you should not deviate. It will pay off. It always pays off.
Do everything wrong.
Yeah. Be an asshole to your friends. You're going to get famous.
Yeah.
And also my other problem with it is there were hardly any stakes. Like I didn't care about Mark and Emily's relationship too much.
Yeah.
They had a nice relationship. She's so supportive and understanding of this weirdo, pathetic guy.
Well, she's barely a character.
Yeah.
I mean, she hardly has any lines. Even the thing that she starts, like, no details about it. She's a very, very one-dimensional sort of side character. It's
and
like,
she
why would I
deserved more.
care?
In 2001, she had to have been riding high on Friends fame, right? So
Definitely.
Wait, how did they get these two? Because I don't know what Mark Wahlberg was doing back then, but I feel like he's been big forever, right?
Well, hadn't he done something came out before that was huge with Mark Wahlberg, right?
Yeah, the Funky Bunch.
I've never seen that.
Wasn't that his band? No, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh yeah. That. Oh,
he was like
man.
a Calvin Klein model.
That's funny.
No, I think Boogie Nights, right?
Oh yeah, Boogie Nights is surely before that.
Yeah,
right?
it's 1997. So he was a pretty big guy too. Well, you noticed that it was Clooney, that executive producer of this movie.
Yeah, George Clooney.
Wild.
That's wild. Yeah.
Why Clooney?
And what
Why?
did he see?
He
in
did
the movie?
Huckabees 3 years later.
Yeah.
Wahlberg did?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. What the fuck happened to... It's also funny that no one ever heard of this movie. I've never heard of it. You've never heard of it. You had never heard of it before you stumbled across it.
Yeah, a buddy of mine was watching it at his house one time. And I had not thought of it until I saw it on the list.
Maybe it was a PR nightmare. Maybe it started getting... people were like, that's an embarrassing. Like, that was so bad. And they both just... Mark Wahlberg and Jennifer Aniston were like, bury it.
Yeah. What? A whole week later, September 11th happened.
Right.
So it might have just probably just didn't get a huge viewership at the time.
If he wasn't doing all this press for Rockstar, maybe them planes would have never came over.
Maybe if people were paying attention to what they should have been paying attention to.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I hated that there were no stakes. Everyone just sort of like, before anything horrible happens, Crizzy just learns his lesson and goes home and like
And
Gets the girl.
Did he even get rich from the band or anything? We don't even know that.
Yeah, how much money he took.
Does he help his mom pay some fucking bills?
Because it's not like we saw his mansion or anything. They were just
Right.
partying on the road for a little while.
Exactly.
Was he only on tour? Was he only in the band
like
for
6 months.
a couple months?
They didn't even get an album out.
Oh
Yeah,
my
exactly.
God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about when he they go to record the album and he actually for some reason, after being so anal about we gotta do it exactly the right way, now that he's in the band, he's like, okay, I wrote some material. They're like, that's not how this works.
Yeah,
Nope.
He wanted to only do these guys' songs until he joined up with them. Then he wanted to do his own songs.
Now he's
not
got
the
some
guys
ideas.
he's obsessed with in the band with.
Right.
The guys that write all the songs for the band are the guys that you are obsessed with their writing. They wrote the songs you're obsessed with.
Yeah, why
They're
would he
kind of your favorite songwriters.
Yeah,
Maybe let
exactly.
them do that job.
Right.
Why are you pressing this?
Why
Yeah.
would he be so butthurt about that? It's like, this is all you've been singing your whole life.
Yeah.
What's the problem here? I don't
It
know.
really is crazy what kind of pieces of shit can get made,
Yeah,
There's all these good movies just on the shelf, Put Rockstar through.
Well, and this was one of those unfortunate cases. Now I can totally understand, we go to a friend's house, capture this on the TV, maybe not watch it oh, this is a horrible movie, and maybe it's so bad it's funny movie, but unfortunately this doesn't exactly hit that mark. It's right in that mediocre stage of
It's not bad enough, but it's nowhere
Exactly.
near good.
Right.
There's a few shimmering little gold nuggets of a close-up of hairy nipple being rubbed with ice.
Yeah, that was great.
Marquee that says all that jizz. I loved the little line where when the bandmate steps in at the press conference to say that he got that voice by eating a lot of pussy, it cuts to the mom and dad, and the mom's like father, like son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like father, like son.
That's my boy. Yeah, most of the good shit was like right at the beginning, and then it just kind of drug on for too long.
Yeah. And you see so much of them playing and performing the music. And if you don't love that hair, which I don't care, it's fine. But I can't imagine being so good that like two rival tribute bands are fighting in the parking lot of your shows.
In the same city.
I know. It
Like-
just, and getting booked on such big shows too. Like,
And now, what was it called? Blood
pollution.
They must have been the better band because the other singer was willing to just ditch those dudes for that band. They clearly already had the better singer, so
I didn't even
they
think
must have
about
been killing
that.
it. You know?
Didn't even think about that. That's funny.
I wanted to ask because both of you guys are musicians. You've played shows. You've both done tours, right? How accurate was this movie to your experience of that?
100%.
Yeah, I only play those big arenas, you know. So
Oh, very cool.
Was
it true?
I
that-
did see a guy do cocaine on tour one time. But I didn't do it myself.
Yeah.
He didn't
It was a
offer.
little
He
too
didn't offer
expensive
any.
So, are you guys just like surrounded by pussy? Is it?
Oh
like,
yeah.
A sea of...
Jaws hurting by the end of the tour.
Jesus. I was thinking while we were watching this, I was like, "Fuck! I wish I had counted how many times they say pussy." in
Well, now
this
doesn't
movie.
Michael Douglas say he got throat cancer from eating Catherine Zeta-Jones out?
what does that mean?
I swear to God, he said that. So I don't know what the truth is.
Who's like, dude, there's something wrong with her, man. There's not like that's not normal.
Or there's just something wrong with your throat, big dog.
Yeah. Are you sure you're not just a heavy
Well,
smoker?
maybe you got to sing after to.
Yeah.
It kind of filters it all out.
Oh my God. I had forgotten about that. What the fuck? Yeah, so Cunnilingus is a huge presence in this movie.
Yeah.
Science is still out on eating pussy.
My experience on tour was much like them trying to get their car started on the highway and their shitty ass car. That's what all my tours look like.
Yeah, I guess my only similarities would be we did definitely drink too much, but
oh yeah, sure.
In a van. Well, they were in a bus though, so that don't even work.
Yeah.
We had way less bimbos in the van.
We were in a minivan with an open trailer with all of our equipment exposed in the back. So nothing like this, but you know what? We were playing our own original music. Maybe if we were a tribute band, we could have been getting some better shows. You know?
I didn't take any notes, but I was going to take one note. The cassettes. What was on the cassettes that the tribute band was selling?
That's right. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. They're playing they had T-shirts. They played the tribute cover show, and they had T-shirts and cassettes available. And are the cassettes full of the copyrighted real bands cover music? I don't understand what's on the cassette.
But they did have some original because they were like, we only play the covers to promote our. That was a big argument whether if that is in fact what they were doing. So I guess they did play some originals sometime. Hole and a Half. They played Hole and a Half. I guess maybe it was all on that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did like the title of that original song. I'm pretty damn proud of Hole and a Half.
He mentions it multiple times.
Yeah, pretty damn proud to have written Hole and a Half. Oh my God. So this was a stakesless movie about the most embarrassing person to have lived.
And everything worked out great for him.
Everything was fine. No one got a horrible STD from any of the stuff that happened.
Yeah.
No one died or had to have their stomach pumped or
Even Bobby Beers, the original singer, he went on to do Celtic line dancing.
That's right. I did appreciate that. At the credits, they do one of those like they're doing interviews and like, actually, I don't care where he's at or what he's doing or whatever about Crizzy. And then they show Bobby Beers like, I just want to do something different, and he's doing Irish Celtic line dancing.
Yeah, pretty good.
I did enjoy that little tidbit.
Yeah.
But we don't get to know anything about what happens to the rest of the main cast. I'm glad that minor character is doing Celtic line dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that guy won the job and business as usual. Probably.
Yeah, I guess so.
Chrissy's going to kick off the grunge movement.
Yeah.
Emily's
Yeah,
starting
yeah.
Starbucks. And
Contemporaries with Nirvana. And
Oh, cool. Well, good for them. They really did it.
As we watched this movie, I thought, what a forgettable, kind of mundane, mediocre waste of time. But now that we talked about it, I think it was an amazing movie, guys.
Yeah.
What's our rating system?
I was thinking nipple piercings.
I was literally going to say the same thing.
Nipple piercings?
Should it be piercings?
Because I was thinking about that before you even came over here, knowing the movie. I knew he got his nipples pierced, and I was going to suggest nipple piercings.
Hell
Well, that's it. Then I was going to say fake hair pieces, but no, I think nipple piercings wins out. That's the better
Well, we
one.
could do nipple piercings as the main rating, and then if you want to add some,
You want to do
wigs.
a bonus wigs. Yeah, yeah. The bonus doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, no.
It's just a fun little.
Frankly, the rating system also doesn't.
And it's out of
Yeah.
10, right?
Yeah, out of 10. So, Steve, if you had, and we're going to make you go first.
You know, I was really hoping it was like a 1 movie, but it's just so mediocre. I don't know. I got to give it like a 3, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
It's not good enough to be like a bad movie to watch, you know?
Right.
It's just really mediocre completely.
Not enough to really grasp
shitty,
onto.
definitely.
It's not a good movie, but not so bad.
That it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, you know, I'll give it 10 wigs because
10 bonus wigs.
because I did remember it all this time, and it was lovely coming and watching it here and doing the podcast. So.
Oh, we super appreciate you.
But 3 is the real rating.
Yeah. And you can have as many bonus wigs as you want. That's not just out of 10.
10.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with 10.
Don't get greedy, okay?
Kelsey, how many disgusting hairy nipple piercings do you give?
God damn it!
Rockstar?
I'm thinking about Ghosts of Mars because so far still has been one of the worst, if not the worst movie that we've watched up until this point. Okay, this movie is very close to Ghosts of Mars in my opinion. However, I think Ghosts of Mars was like a little bit easier to make fun of because like everything about it was just there were like several things that were very funny. This movie, I kind of found myself losing track of what was going on. Or I hate so much movies that make you sit through a fake fucking band playing a fake song in front of a fake crowd, you know? So I'm gonna go even lower. 2 nipple piercings. Like in real life, you only have 2 nipples.
Well, we only saw him get 1 pierced.
That's true. I could go lower. I'm going to give him 2 nipple piercings, and I'm going to give it 30 wigs because
30
that's probably
wigs.
close to the number of wigs in the movie.
Yeah, I think a good third of the budget was spent on hair pieces.
And the soundtrack.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
This is a hard one to rate. My ratings on this podcast so far have been wildly inconsistent. I gave Dr. Dolittle 2 a low rating, and that so far has been one of the most enjoyable movies I've seen. So, like,
It turns out Dr. Doolittle's an 8.
yeah. I might have to revisionist history some of my ratings, but to put it against Ghosts of Mars was so much more absurd in some ways. There was so much more funny things going on. The motivations of people were bizarre and funny to think about. This one, there was some glimmer of funny bad things, but it just wasn't enough to keep a person interested. So I have to give this one 3.5 nipple piercings.
Wow.
Fair.
3 nipple
Fair score.
piercings and 1 clip-on nipple ring.
Well, the eyebrow ring he got later.
Yeah. 3 nipple piercings and 1 eyebrow. And I'm giving it no wigs, no
Wow.
bonus wigs. First one I don't have any bonus wigs.
They have too many as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my memory, though, I really just like kind of trying to remember it. I was like, oh, that movie was so ridiculously bad that's going to be hilarious. And yeah, it just wasn't.
Well, I'm glad, Kelsey and I, again, thank you so much, Steve, for coming
course,
over
yeah, it
here
was
and
fun.
watching this with us, because Kelsey and I were going to have to watch this anyway.
That's true.
And it was so much better to have you there with us.
Yeah.
So we
Much
really
better.
appreciate you.
You guys
picking
would have
that
probably put this one much later. This would have been years down the road.
I've been talking about, like, man, eventually when we do all the good ones and there's just a whole bunch of riffraff, we have to come up with some sort of like wheel or system
Yeah.
to like pick them by, because
Random generator.
which one are we going to do this week?
Yeah. Before we let Steve go, I wanted to give you an opportunity to plug anything that's going on. Before you do that, I do want to let listeners know that, Steve, you do have Push and Pull Records, correct? So you guys have several different local bands on that record label, and not so local, right? You have some bands from outside of
Yeah, I think farthest away is like San Diego. We did put out like a band from Wisconsin one time, but mostly centered around the area.
The Ozarks, yeah. I have been a longtime fan of the Reach Arounds. I'm sure a lot of people listening know you guys and have seen you over the years. You can follow the Reach Arounds on Instagram at Reach Arounds Mo. Push and Pull Records is also on Instagram. And your newest project, which I've only been able to see you guys one time, I think.
Yeah.
Pony Boy.
Yeah, I don't have anything to plug per se, but we did just put out a new tape a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, I got really sick and wasn't able to actually play the show.
That
but
sucks.
Pony Boy tape is out. It's like the 49th Push and Pull release or something like that.
Sweet.
So
you
you can
something
get
special for the 50th.
Yeah, we really do. I'm sure Justin has something planned, but you can get those at any Push and Pull show or stick it in your ear.
Cool. What's the album called?
Pony Baloney.
I love that name.
And inside we have our super secret bologna salad recipe, so make sure you whip that up.
Bologna sandwich.
It'd be great to bring to the holidays.
Oh yeah, perfect. And you can follow them on Instagram at ponyboymo as well. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
It was really fun.
It has been a huge pleasure having you with us, because this would have been hell without you, I think.
And now I can put this movie to bed. I don't have to think about it anymore.
Exactly.
And maybe it wasn't the worst movie I ever saw, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The biggest side effect of this podcast, negative side effect, is that for all these forgettable movies you watch, when you're forced to have to recall it and talk about it, now you're going to have all the movie in your head for eternity. So
It's true.
Well, I would have been totally silent trying to recap the movie. Like, I don't remember. I seen it twice, and I couldn't remember anything you guys were bringing up until you said it. So. But hell yeah, no, I had a lot of fun. Thank you, guys.
All right, and thank you guys for listening to another episode of 2001 Film Podyssey. We will catch you later.
Next time. Love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.